What's up, you friggin' geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to add rational expressions that have the same denominator, all right? Now, you can basically break these problems up into 3 steps, all right? So first of all, you're going to just add them together, add the tops together, I should say. And then after you do that, you're going to see if you can factor the top or the bottom. And if you can, we're going to do that. And then we're going to cancel any similar factors that are on the top and the bottom. And then when you do that, you essentially just simplified the problem, right? So if you're ever confused as to how you can work with these rational expressions, you can always just use numbers, okay? Because if you were adding 2 fractions together that had the same decimal, so if you had something like 5/2 plus 7/2, well, you could simplify this to 5 plus 7/2, right? Since they have the same denominator, you just add them on top, right? That's what we did right there. And then you just put it over the denominator once. And then here, 5 plus 7 is equal to 12, so that'd be 12/2, right? But this is the main point, all right? You can add them together and then just put it over the denominator one time, all right? So we're going to do that exact same thing to this rational expression right here. So as you can see, we have the same denominator, right? 4y minus 3, 4y minus 3. So if you want to add these together, well, again, we have the same denominators, so we just keep it, okay? And then on top, we have 3y plus 7. 3y plus 7. Okay, so we just added those 2 together, and then the next step would be to factor it. Okay, and when you factor it, you have to factor the top and the bottom individually, okay? You're not factoring both of these together, okay? So first of all, is there anything we can factor out of the top right here, 3y plus 7? No, there isn't, right? These 2 terms right here, they're completely different. There's nothing I could pull out. And it's the same thing in the denominator, right? Here we have 4y minus 3. Again, these 2 terms, 4y and negative 3, they don't have anything in common, so there's nothing I can pull out. Okay, so this right here would be your final answer. Okay, and you don't have to put the parentheses on here. I only did that because we were potentially going to factor something, but since there was nothing to factor, I just left it alone. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too bad. Let's do just a couple more examples here. Okay, so here is our second example. Now, as you can see, again, we have the same denominator, right? So right off the bat, we can write that in the very bottom. So it's 3 times x plus 2, right? 3 times x plus 2, right? We know that goes in the bottom. And then we're just adding the tops together, right? So 5x plus 10. So let's write that right here, 5x plus 10. Nice. Okay, cool. So adding them is pretty easy. Okay, so next we just have to factor the top and the bottom individually. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the top. Is there anything I can factor out of the top? Well, sure there is, right? We can factor out of 5, right? Both of these terms right here are divisible by 5. And factoring is basically the same thing as dividing. Okay, so if we pull out a 5, what are we left with in these parentheses right here? Well, again, if we're dividing both of these by 5, the 5 on top and the bottom cancel out, so we're just left with this x right here. And then here we have positive 10 divided by 5, and that's equal to positive 2, right? So plus 2. Okay, now let's go to the bottom. Is there anything we can factor out of the bottom here? No. It's already basically as simplified as it can get, so we would just bring that straight over here. Okay, so 3 times x plus 2. Okay, cool. So we factored the top and bottom. Now, is there anything that we can cancel? Well, in this case, there is, right? We have an x plus 2 in parentheses on top and an x plus 2 in parentheses on the bottom, right? So those kill each other and they cancel each other out, right? So then what are we left with? Well, we have a 5 on top and a 3 on the bottom, right? That's all that's left. So your simplified answer would just be 5/3. Okay, not too bad, right? Let's do one last example. All right, so here's our last example. Okay, so again, you can see that we have the same denominators, right? So we're going to say that this is equal to, keeping the same denominator right there, and then we're going to add the tops together, right? So we're going to have 7x plus 12 plus x squared, all right? But I'm going to change the order a little bit. I'm going to write the x squared first, and then I'll put these after. So plus 7x plus 12, plus 7x plus 12. And I'm specifically writing it in that form because, as you can see, now it's a quadratic. And we know how to factor quadratics. At least I do, and if you don't, I'm going to teach you right now, okay? So we just added both of the expressions together. Now we have to factor the top and the bottom individually, right? So how do we factor x squared plus 7x plus 12? Well, as you can see, we have a leading coefficient right here of 1, right? So in order to factor this, I can break it up into 2 sets of parentheses. Now I have an x squared right here, so I can break that up into x times x like that. And then to figure out the numbers right here, all you have to do is look at your last number right here, which is a 12, positive 12, right? So what two numbers can we multiply together to get 12, but they also have to add up to this middle number right here, positive 7? Well, that would be a 3 and a 4, right? Because 3 times 4, that's equal to 12, and 3 plus 4, that's equal to 7, okay? So then these are the two numbers we're going to put right here. So plus 3 and plus 4. Okay, now let's expand this one more time. So on top, we just factored this, right? And it's right here. So x plus 3 times x plus 4. X plus 3 times x plus 4. Okay, now let's move on to the bottom. Can we factor the bottom? No, right? This is already as simplified as it can get. So x plus 3. So we'll bring that over. X plus 3. If you want, you could throw that in a set of parentheses too. Okay, cool. So we're done factoring. Now let's go to the canceling and simplifying, all right? Now, is there anything that we can cancel out that's the same on top and the bottom? Well, sure, right? We have this x plus 3 right there and x plus 3 right there, right? And they're both in parentheses. So those can cancel out. And then here, all we're going to be left with is x plus 4, right? That's all that remains. Okay, so then that right there would be your final answer. So if you found the video helpful, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any other questions or want to see any other examples, just let me know in the comment section below. Also, there's a couple playlists attached that I think you'll find helpful, so definitely check those out, and I'll see you there.